Hello, and welcome to part 54 of the Daggerfall Let's Play series. And in part 54, this is actually the final video in this particular Let's Play series. This is the finale video. In the last one, we completed the journey to Aetherius, we found the Mantella within Aetherius, and I guess technically activated her or whatever, the Numidium in a way. But yeah, I actually read just after recording the last episode, because I'm actually recording this right after I recorded the last episode, because I figured I might as well do this part and then do the other editing stuff I wanted to do for the end part later on. But if I have this recording part, it'll make it easier, I guess, to kind of know what I want to do, and just get it done. But yeah, I was like, yeah, so almost all of them, the actual, like, what it reads in the wiki or whatever, what it actually reads or what was said in the transcript of, the muffled noise, the muffled voice for all the ones, is that almost all of them, besides the King of Worms becomes a god. He achieves apotheosis, whatever, with it. And then every other one uses it to crush some enemies or their opposition. Gortwog uses it to crush the powers of the like. They almost say the same thing. Almost. Gortwog uses it to crush the powers of the Iliac Bay to give a place for the orcs or whatever, or to seat their right in the world, kind of thing. All the other ones, including the Empire, the Emperor uses it to crush the rebelling armies, I guess, of the Empire. I mean, they're rebelling for some reason, so maybe something's pretty fucked up in your Empire, bro, huh? But he used it to crush the opposition and then restore quote-unquote order to the Empire, kind of deal. And then all the other ones, they used it to crush all the powers of the Iliac Bay and then take to become the dominant force in the Iliac Bay. That's what they use it for, basically. They almost all read the same in that sense. But then the Underking's one, that's outside of the King of Worms, that's the only ones that read really different, basically. The Underking's one, that's what it says. It gives him the blessed death that he so, like, wished for, or whatever. Blessed death. So, that's what the Underking wanted, being reunited with his heart, the totem, and being granted, finally, death. So, yeah, really, I mean, out of all of them, in my opinion, if we're going to go by the, supposed things of morality, I mean, that's all up to interpretation as it is, but to me, that seems to be the one that makes the most sense, is that it's giving the least power from this super weapon or anything being used in some kind of messed up way to be used on other people or whatever. It's being completely neutralized, essentially. And as well as granting somebody who probably, was, I guess, apparently fucked over the death that he so desires after being undead for so long and all that crap. So, yeah. I can't see how that's not the, like, quote unquote best result if your character isn't trying to just be like, oh yeah, Sentinel all the way, Wayrest all the way, Daggerfall all the way, Empire all the way, or kind of Gortwog all the way kind of shit. But yeah, besides that, what I was gonna do as a kind of send-off was basically try to find a place for Sinia to kind of rest. Let's say find a little home in the Iliac Bay kind of deal. Basically buy a house in a place that makes kind of sense where it's going to eventually lead to Morrowind, since that's the next game in the mainline series. Hopefully that this time I can make, like, it's going to take me a while to get, like, a good mod set up and everything and know what mods. Like, there's thousands of mods, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken, there's, like, thousands of mods for Morrowind at this point. So I'm going to have some assistance in knowing what mods that are worth it and what mods are, like, out of date, what mods are not worth it, or there's ones that have been replaced by others kind of deal, mods, like, stuff like that. Mods that are compatible and everything. So it's going to take a while, because I've done the mess that is Oblivion modding at least one time, maybe two times, but somewhat recently one time. And I know it's a pain in the balls, but you can get a somewhat stable experience, even, like, after all the kind of extra work you have to do with the modding part. but I have no real clue on how that all works for Morrowind. So I'm gonna need a decent amount of time and effort. Just a straight up. I'm guessing. I guess a few days where I'm just doing mods, setting up stuff, and then testing to make sure everything is like good and everything. So it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take some committed work to actually be like, all right, now I'm ready to kind of do this. But even outside of that, I'm going to be doing some other stuff before I do any of that. So it's going to be a while before I start the next anthology playthrough for Sinia in Tomorrowland and stuff. It's going to be a while, but I'm going to get there eventually. I want to do that. It's just, like I said, it's going to take time, and I'm not going to be doing it immediately after this like I did with Arena, straight to Daggerfall. So it's going to be some time, but I'll get there eventually. What I'm going to do now, since I mentioned all that stuff with the Morrowind, I want Sinia, not that it matters, but I just feel like doing it. I want Sinia to, quote-unquote, retire. Like, she's not actually retiring, and the title of the video might be something about her retiring, just because it might sound like, on the title, sound good instead of something that's less descriptive or less confident. But she's not actually retiring, but she'll be retiring in this case somewhere that it's going to be close. That would kind of make sense that she'd kind of start from where Morrowind starts, that being on a ship towards Vardenfell or whatever, towards Morrowind. But then I looked at the actual, like, world map stuff, kind of, with how Tamriel is supposedly laid out, and it's kind of all screwed up anyway compared to, like, this. But High Rock, the Iliac Bay, basically, or whatever, High Rock, is actually, like, the opposite side of Nirn or whatever, like, the, like, almost, like, you got Skyrim and the Imperial and stuff like that, like, between it, like, pretty huge land masses between it kind of deal. So, they're not exactly close together. So, really, in terms of, like, land, the closest would be, like, the very northeast corner of the Rothlgarian Mountains would be the closest in terms of land, but you come there by ship. So it's either going to be somewhere on, like, the northwestern part of Rothlgarian Mountains, because you can't, I don't know if there's any water. I'm assuming the water kind of ends here, or somewhere over here. Just because you could actually see water ending here on Northmoor, where it, like, that's what I would be like, oh, like, maybe somehow. I know it's all, like, completely, like, you have no idea. Like, you're apparently the reincarnation of the Nerevar in Morrowind for Azora to defeat Dagoth and such. But in this case, I'm just gonna be like, oh, like, Sinia, she, in her retirement in her home, she woke up who knows how long later on a ship, and maybe somehow that ship took her from Northmoor, the shore, somehow to Vardenfell, Daggerfall, and that's how destiny led her. That's what I'm gonna go for. So I think in this case, even though there's probably more water up here, I can't really see it, so I don't know. I'm just gonna be like, okay, near the shore of Northmoor somewhere, that's where Sinia decides to set up her her little retirement kind of deal. That eventually isn't really retirement, but that's what she was expecting, I guess. Where should it be? So all these cities, I'm assuming none of them are actually, like, proper cities. These are like inns and stuff and hostels. Maybe this one. Warborn, that's Knight's Hope. Let's go over there and see what's up. That's very close to the shore. But this looks like a pretty small town. Yeah, this is... Well, it's not super small, but I'm guessing it's not gonna have a, it's not gonna have a bank, almost definitely. Yeah, there's no bank. There's no bank here, unfortunately. Maybe this one, Warborn. Probably not, though. Pawn shops. I mean, it's a pretty big town, but unfortunately no bank, so I can't buy any property here because of that annoyance. So it's probably gonna be that one or this one. Maybe even over here. Yeah, maybe that could work, but I don't know. Gothcroft. So there should be a bank here, but you never know. Yes. Whoops. Yes. Where is the bank? The Bank of Northmore. Wait, what? Of North? Oh, Northmore is the region. I was like, wait, that's not the town name. I'm not gonna go crazy with trying to find the right house and everything because, frankly, it is a massive pain in the balls in the vanilla game to find the property you kind of want, because it's like all just randomly chosen. Essentially, that like the list is just randomly populated. This is a pretty nice town, actually. Like it's got a cemetery, it's got a palace, it's got a lot of stuff. Not a bad choice, I would say, in this case. But yeah, you don't really have any control over what buildings are selected to be for sale kind of deal. Even though they basically all can be. What time is it? It's... Wait a minute. Oh man, the fucking bank is closed. God damn it. Fucking banks. Alright, well, at least there's a tavern right south. The Lion and Griffin. Let's get a room for the night. Now let's sleep for what? I don't know. Let's sleep for 18 hours. What a way to send off in the tavern. The best song. Well, not this one, but this one. They're all the tavern songs are good, but that one that was just playing before this one is my favorite. Okay, now the bank should be open. Oh, well, I went way past it. Okay, let's save here. And let's see what selection we have. First, I guess we'll just deposit, like, everything. Fuck it. Yeah, where did all this money come from? Like, there's definitely some bug that happened. I think. Because I'm like, where did I get almost 2 million fucking gold? Like... Oh, man. Okay, let's save again, I guess. Buy a house. Now, in a lot of cases, a lot of these houses kind of suck. In actuality, but... Yeah, like, look at this. Like, look at these. Look at the way they do pricing. It's so fucked. Look at this tiny little house. It's 427,000. Then you got this comparatively gigantic looking house that's only like 200,000 more. It's like, what? And these big houses, they look so ugly in these regions. That it's like, why would you even want them? I don't know. I guess we'll go with this one. I mean, this one looks kind of cool. It has like it's not just a square or rectangle, whatever. It's got some like levels to it, kind of. Congratulations, you have purchased a lovely home here in Gothcroft. Cool. Let's see where it is. I think it should say my house or something. It's probably on the other side of town. Sinia's house. Nice. That is east on the other side of town. What is that? Right near the city walls, basically. Guess it's an easy place to get some fresh air in the morning. Go out to nature and stuff outside the city walls. Seems fair to me. Yeah, the housing, it's gonna be like, this is just me musing about modding ideas and stuff like that, but the housing is gonna be such a humongous thing when we actually start modding it more and stuff, because it is such a nothing in the, even though it's cool that they have it. It's cool that they have it, but it is so, like, as it always is in Bethesda games, the housing is so, like, disappointing at the end of the day. But we're gonna do so much more with it, like fortresses and stuff, places you can actually build and stuff. All this stuff. At least that's my plans. That's my dreams for modding and stuff like that involving housing in Daggerfall Unity. But here's our beautiful new home. Honestly, compared to some of the other, like, bigger looking houses, it looks at least interesting on the outside. But let us see how it is on the inside. So we got the door there. Ugh, that's kind of a... I mean, most of the houses are pretty damn ugly. Like, the tile set, not a huge fan of, but... Oh, that's nice. Got right near the door. Got a bookshelf. What if you could even use that for storage? No, apparently not. I think only the ship allows that. Maybe the ship doesn't even allow that. I think you just have to use loot piles. Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken. Got a bed here, right next to the door. That's cool. And then you got this ugly ass, whatever the fuck this is, transition room kind of deal. Oh. Nice. Then you got like a dining room here with a fireplace. You know what? Okay. Of a lot of the random houses I've seen, of one that I literally just kind of picked out of the fucking hat, this is honestly a pretty nice house, like, design-wise. Like, I'm not seeing too many of those ugly-ass fucking closets. Okay, so you could actually use that, the crates for storage. I mean, yeah, it's not... This is, like, significantly smaller on the inside than it is on the outside, but even with that, it's pretty nice. It's got, like, a weapon room, almost like a storage area, so... Pretty practical house, all things considered. Let's see if there's other entrances to it, because otherwise, yeah, this is a tiny-ass... The interior is tiny as shit compared to the exterior, but I think this is a sufficient home with the practical amenities. The, you know, a storage room, a dining room with a fireplace, a bedroom with a bookshelf and all that stuff. Not too bad of a choice. There's no impractical, ridiculous closets that have the door that's bigger than the closet itself kind of shit. So, not too bad. Not too bad. I think Sinia would be happy being here, because she'd probably be more the She probably wouldn't be somebody, I would think, that wouldn't be too into just staying, just staying around the house all the time reading books. She'd probably be going out a lot. So this seems like, it's pretty close. Where is it, actually? I forget. Yeah, it's right at the shore. Like, we're right near the shore. She'd probably be going to the beach or whatever, the shore and stuff. Maybe she'd be going fishing, shrimping like Forrest Gump. I don't know. I think she'd be probably into this. This seems like a nice place to go on vacation or retire, whatever you want to call it. Go on leave. I don't know what you call it. Go relaxing kind of deal. So I think this is a pretty nice. Maybe not the perfect, but you can't get perfect. Look at that. It's right near tavern. The Gold Goblin. That seems like a fitting name. The Gold Goblin. So if she wanted to get some, with all this money she's got, she could get whatever she wants, whatever that tavern happens to make. But I think Sinia would be pretty happy here. I think it'd be a pretty fitting place kind of deal. And what is it? Isn't there a Dark Brotherhood? In this town, or no? Maybe not. Well, I guess she doesn't necessarily need to mix her, work affairs with, in the same city as where she lives and all that. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, I think she'd be happy this place. Before she gets what would you call it, dragged off by destiny to to kill destroy Daggerfall and stuff by Azura's will, I guess, or whatever, as the Nerevar in Morrowind. I never got the Daedric gauntlets, but who really gives a shit? I don't feel like getting those just for that reason, so screw it. I've had these iron gauntlets this entire time. Got all these artifacts and everything. Well, might as well talk here in this nice dining hall with the fireplace in the corner. But yeah, I think I already mentioned mostly what I plan on doing for the rest of the series. You know what? Let's take off some of these artifacts. I wonder if that'll stop me from taking damage, like I keep taking damage. Let's see. Let's see if taking that off makes me stop taking that stupid periodic damage. Yeah, this is a nice cozy place. But yeah, what I plan to do next, at least in this anthology, is play Morrowind. But like I said, it's gonna be quite a while. Probably, I mean, I'm just gonna be assuming probably a few months before I even consider starting the Morrowind part of this. And before that, I'll probably be doing some other stuff. I finally, yesterday, or last night, the night before I was recording this, I'm recording this. Today is actually the 24th of December that I'm recording right now, so yesterday was the 23rd of December. But yesterday, I actually did some modding, which I hadn't done in a very long time, of actually, like, going in and doing some coding and such. So that was cool. I actually made a little bit of progress on the what do you call it? The locked loot containers, which before I work on anything else, I just want to get that into like a released state at the very least. Maybe not perfect, because I would almost consider myself a perfectionist in some ways, but I realize that, and I'm like, I have to not do that, otherwise I will never get anything done and be satisfied with it. But that's kind of how I'm looking at locked loot containers. Like, I have to get it released, so I'm just working towards that. At the very least. Like, I'm not very happy at all with how the loot system is kind of shaping up in terms of like the back end part. Like, it's just seeming like such a goddamn mess right now. I mean, I'll have to see when I actually get like a prototype or a practice. Well, not a practice, but like a actual working kind of prototype, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could see that the loot system sucks ass, and for these reasons, kind of thing. So I will, I will just have to see. I would just have to go through the slog that is the horrible, how it seems really bad right now, and just see how that goes. And then based on that, try and change it if I need to, or overhaul it, whatever, or stick with it. I don't know, but I hope to eventually sooner rather than later, get that mod into a actually released state. Um, and then be able to move on to updating my other mods and stuff. I mean, DFU is almost soon going to be going into its official 1.0 released like candidate or released state. So, that'd be the perfect time to, when that gets released, to actually like update all my mods and stuff like that. I want to get physical combat and armor overhaul. I want to get that into 2.0, which I'm going to guess after after getting locked loot containers into a release state. This is what I'm guessing, at least. After I get locked loot containers into an actually released state, and I'm happy with that, at least for the time being. Then the next mod that I'm going to be doing a major rework or a major update for would be physical combat and armor overhaul for version 2.0 of it. And I'm probably going to be doing little updates for the other mods, try and fix some bugs here and there or whatever, compatibility issues and other things. But that's the next major one I plan to be working on after locked loot containers, is getting that into version 2.0, and actually, out of the ancientness that it is at this point, where it's so like it's what it was basically like, besides that one mod before that, which is basically just a earlier version of that, and at the end of the day, basically my first mod I ever made. So the fact that I haven't updated it in this long, or well, I did update it a bunch of times, but I haven't updated it in a pretty damn long time since then, like since version 1.4 or something. It needs to be updated. It needs to be reworked. It needs to have the code completely gutted and changed, and so many things changed and stuff. But I do have a lot of stuff I want to do with it. Hopefully I won't get into a crazy feature creep issue like I kind of have been with locked loot containers and stuff, but we'll have to see. But that's what my stuff with modding has been. I haven't done much in a while. It was been like a month and a half basically since I did any commits at all or any coding at all. So being able to do some of that yesterday was pretty nice, to finally get some of that done again, or get some of that actually progressed somewhat. And yeah, just in terms of like the video series and stuff, like I said, I want to finish the WoW series after this. Possibly, I'll probably do 1 or 2 episodes, and by that say if I actually want to finish it all the way through. I do. It's just I don't know if I'm willing to go through the effort, but I'll have to see. Um, I'll probably do the Deep Rock Galactic stuff that I was considering, and as I said, after all that, I probably will. That's probably when I would actually be considering starting the Morrowind part of this anthology series sort of thing for Sinia and all that. But yeah, it's like I said, it's gonna be a while. But besides that rambling, which probably nobody's listening anymore, but I'm glad that I have this really nice like kind of this would be like a nice screensaver to some extent if it was like an animated screensaver with that little fireplace on the side. It's got this pretty chill, mysterious music going on, but this is a very nice room. You don't see too much of this. Yeah, I mean, you do occasionally. Um, but, what was it? Oh man, what the hell? Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, but since I ramble on about that, and I think I've gotten my point across on what my next part of this, what my next things in terms of videos is going to be on this channel for the next few weeks, months, whatever. I might as well talk about this particular specific Let's Play itself, or whatever, this playthrough of Daggerfall DOS. You know what? I think I made it pretty clear, like pretty like midway through the playthrough and near the end and stuff. Like, I was surprised at how not frustrating a lot of this was. Like, I expected it to be a lot more frustrating and a lot more annoying and stuff. But I like, besides a few things here and there, like the crashes occasion, like the crashes that became much more common later on. But the crashes, the occasionally dying to stupid crap. The things that was just the most annoying was the clipping out of the environment and then that bullshit. Like, in the beginning of the series, it was especially obnoxious when I tried to actually get out of the Void Ranger shit instead of just loading a save or something. Because that was by far the worst part, was just like, oh my god, it is just so finicky trying to get back into the bounds of the dungeon from the void. It is just so obnoxious, even though it was kind of cool and a little novelty for the most part. But after like it happened a few times, I was like, oh man, this sucks. That's why I could see that climbing would be a completely awful skill in DOS version, just because, for the most part at least, just because levitate is just vastly better, because it's so much less likely to get you bugged into the walls and stuff like that. But like, people always complain about like the quest being bugged or something, and besides a few, which I think were ones that were unofficial, then again, I haven't done that much variety of quests. I haven't done, like, I've seen a bunch of quests that were bugged, and a lot of them involved the stuff where it was like going to different buildings and stuff, and some other like stuff. I didn't do stuff that was really obviously bugged, like I didn't do a lot of like peasant quest or civilian quest, whatever you want to call those, commoner quest. I did a lot of guild quests, a lot of the kind of same ones where it's just kind of go to a dungeon, kill something, or find somebody or whatever, find an item. But those ones, I don't think I had any of them bug out besides that one with the scroll. But that wasn't a bug in terms of finding the item. That was a bug in terms of just the scripting itself after the fact. But all the item placement, I didn't have any bugs with that. I don't think I had any bugs where I could not find an item. Like 100% I couldn't find it. It was just that one time, I think, it's in a somewhat recent episode where I was in a dungeon where I just could not. My patience had been, my patience had been, what would you call it? What the hell is the word? My patience had been exhausted for trying to figure out where I had to go next. So I was just like, F this, we're trying a different place. That was actually a Daedric quest, I remember, a Daedric item quest. And just that dungeon was just just completely drove me up the wall. I was like, where am I supposed to go now? And I just said, screw this. But besides all that, didn't have any of the items like not appear or the objectives not appear or whatever. It had weird stuff happen here and there, but like nothing game breaking in that sense. And yes, it's probably not too fair to be. I'm not giving that much credit to Bethesda here, because I don't know how many of the quests were fixed by the patches and other stuff like that I have installed in the mods. So yeah, I'm not giving them to that, but I don't think that any of the mods changed much stuff with involving the physics and stuff. So the fact that I didn't get as bugged out of like the walls, I mean, I was careful and stuff like that. So it was also on me that I didn't get as often bugged out and stuff like that. But still, it was not as bad as I expected in terms of the bugginess, and it was a lot more fun than I expected overall. Like, the fact that I did almost all the I didn't do all the Daedric quests. I did most of them though. Like in terms of the list of Daedric items, I did like probably over half. The fact that I did that, the fact that I got Archmage, the fact that I got Master Assassin, is that what it's called? Master, whatever the hell it is. Master Assassin, the fact that I did all those, The fact that I went through the main quest. I didn't do the optional stuff, but I didn't really want to. But I did all that. I had fun. I got where I got a lot of money, which is not hard to make, but the magic is OP as shit. So I was glad I was able to use magic. Uh the game is super fucking easy. I mean, that's the game is super easy because you get super once you get danger, like even before that, once you get like even like mithril and adamantium, like once you get to that point, that's when shit just starts dying. And then once you get danger, it just becomes a joke. Like they them in melee didn't really matter that much. I guess it didn't matter too much just because, as well, my health. I have 200, 300. I'm level 21 now. I have 327 maximum health. Like, having that much health makes it so much easier. Like, zombies were never an issue, obviously, but they would be an issue if you had lower health because they get hit so hard. Really the hardest thing, like, this is what actually makes this game probably harder than Daggerfall Unity, is that the casters, is because in Daggerfall Unity they have a, just like the attack animations, they have a cooldown set from when they can actually use spells again after using one. So they can't rapid fire kill you, like machine gun fire, suicide bomb you as much. Or like at all, almost. Like they could suicide bomb you, kind of, but they also have the AI that they try to avoid that generally, hurting themselves. But in that case, it makes them way less dangerous because they're not rapid fire shooting you with spells, and by that time they're dead if you reach them, kind of deal. But in this game, they just like completely unload like everything on you at once, just like the shock spells, and in some cases actually like crashing your game. Which I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that actually makes it in DOS, some encounters you are actually fairly likely to potentially die just from being screwed over by magic, in that sense, by a barrage of magic spells. As well as, I guess if you could say it's not, I wouldn't really consider that difficulty where you like have bugs and stuff and it's like, oh, you clipped out of the world and you died. Like, that's not really difficulty, but it does make it kind of more difficult in that sense. The jankiness of the controls, or the extra jankiness. Obviously, by the end, I was able to get pretty used to most of the controls, like quickly moving around and stuff, and getting stuck on enemies was a pain in the balls and happened pretty often. But as long as you could kill them, it's not a giant deal. It's just annoying. But yeah, like, all things considered, I was surprised how much fun I had in this particular Let's Play with DOS. I'm surprised how stable it was. Like, I'm not going to say it was that stable overall, but it's, compared to what my expectations were, it was much more stable than I expected. I had more, by the end I had more crashes than I expected, because at the beginning I had like barely any crashes, but I had less crashes overall and stuff like that. I had less times where I was just like, oh my god. Like, I had a lot of times where I was annoyed by certain things, but it wasn't, like, too awful. But yeah, overall, I mean, Daggerfall DOS, yes. Yes, I did have mods and patches, so without those, it probably would have been a lot worse in some cases, especially for some of the quests, I imagine. Like, I'm not certain on that, but that's what I imagine it would be the case. But overall, like, it went a lot better than I expected. I had a lot more fun than I expected. I played it a lot longer than I expected. Like, I was thinking, like, man, I would get to, like, part 30, and then I'd be like, all right, let's start the main quest. But what the hell did I get to? I got to, like, part 40-something, like, mid-40s, and that's when I started the main quest, finally. But yeah, it is a game that is, even after all these decades, after like whatever, like 30 plus years or some bullshit, even longer, I don't even know, but something like that. After all these years, it is still a surprisingly fun game. It is still a massive world, technically, even though in reality you're just going to be using fast travel anyway, but in terms of the scale, it is still massive and all that. So even in DOS, Daggerfall is a great game. I'm not going to say that playing it in DOS... I would not say that playing it in DOS is the recommended way. One thing that's nice about DOS is that obviously you can run it on a toaster, so that's great. This would be great if you have like a shitty laptop and you just want to play something. Even though, like, if I wasn't doing this Let's Play, I'd probably be a lot more bored just because, like, you know, going through the dungeon, you've done the same thing, like, over and over kind of deal. But still, you know, it could be a fun dungeon crawl, kind of laid back thing if you want it to be kind of thing. Um, but I'd still definitely recommend anyone play Daggerfall Unity over this. Like, if you have your computer has the resource, and it's not even that much harder, it's just DOS you can play on a toaster. Daggerfall Unity, not so much, or not as well. But it was a interesting novelty. It was definitely worth doing, and I'm very happy at the end of the day with how this Let's Play went, this playthrough went. I'm glad I did it, and now I can have a personal experience when I do now play Daggerfall Unity even more so, because I have played through DOS entirely before, like through the story and everything. At least I think I played it. Maybe I forget. I'm pretty sure I played it through DOS once, but I forget. But I don't think I got to this level 21. I don't think I got my skills to the level that they are and all that stuff. I don't think I got anywhere close to level 21. I just kind of like speed ran it. I didn't get any of the. I've never done the Daedric artifacts, so that was pretty cool to do the Daedric quest and stuff, see them and all that, them talking and everything, and the dialogue and everything, the items themselves, even how buggy so many of them are. I realized that the artifacts are even the weapon artifacts are even shittier than I expected, just because they wear out so fast. But I mean, it could be worse, like in Oblivion stuff with like 10 charges, then you got to recharge it kind of deal, but still kind of better than expected in some ways. But yeah, it was a very fun playthrough, and I am glad to have done it. But I think that's probably all I had to really say. I think I made my most of what I wanted to say. And in the next part here, there's probably going to be, if depending on how much editing effort I wanted to put in the end here, there's most likely going to be some kind of transition after this, and I'm going to have a little thing at the end here. But for my final words on this Let's Play, at least for this series, for this part of the series, and DOS Daggerfall, my final words would be, as I say at the end, I had fun. I'm glad you came on this journey along with me, and I hope you had fun as well. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming here with me along on this journey. And I hope to see you on my next journeys in the next games, in whatever other games I decide to play, as well as Morrowind eventually when I get to that for this anthology. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next ones, and take care.
you.